Now, broadcasting from deep within your stepmom's basement, it's the Plex podcast.
So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-drunk fraternity guy, you got my ass with bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. But we're defined by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with the penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a pool of blood and cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like a tree and gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The fundamental put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the blood you spill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We usually do this show on Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlex Media. We're here live Monday because I had a busy Pride weekend and there was no way when I got home last night I was even going to consider trying to stream. Anyway, you can support this project at echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the top of the website. You'll find your favorite way to support there. And people watching live on Twitch, you know how monetization works here. Anyway, I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. And there's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Thank your local police, 'cause they don't do nothing wrong. Thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. 'Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops. 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 Don't hate the cops.
Well, it's been a hell of a news week, and this happened.
Bomb, bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. My country's got a feeling, really, the ceiling bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Went to a mosque, gonna throw some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah, gonna put you in a box. Bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. My country's got a feeling, really, it's the ceiling bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Old Uncle Sam's getting pretty hot. Time to turn Iran into a parking lot. Bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, bomb, Iran. My country's got a feeling, really, it's the ceiling bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran.
Well, that's posted by the President of the United States. I guess celebrating the fact that we have bombed Iran. The deeply, deeply unserious person at the helm of this country's fucking war machine, but unfortunately, the consequences of it are very serious. Like this is, you can't even laugh anymore. Maybe just, I don't know, go lay down and cry or something. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. This is what happens if you've watched the Team America movie and you did not understand the Team America movie.
So again, I can't say enough about this operation and the incredible warriors that carried this out, their entire support team. Yep. It truly is Team America, Harris. I'm very, very proud of all of them.
Senator Ernst, and we are.
These people, I mean, like, I'm not fucking like a big movie guy or whatever, but these people really suck at like analyzing media and pop culture. Like, they have no idea what they probably watched it and like Christ-masturbated to it. Like, because we're at war in the Middle East again, and they like did not understand that movie. Like, I didn't even like that movie that much, but I understood it. Like, I thought the movie kind of, a lot of other people really liked it. I thought the jokes were a little bit, whatever. So did you know that you can't just kill a nuclear ambition overnight?
After we crash them,
can I just tell you that right now, Mr. Speaker, Reuters is reporting Iran's nuclear chief says we're going to immediately start reconstituting our nuclear program. I mean,
How do you negotiate with that?
Are you kidding me?
It's madness. I mean, we're under no illusion that you can just kill all their nuclear ambition overnight. But I think
except sort of that's what the fucking president said that they did. But
reality has set in over there. We have decimated the upper echelon of their military command as well as their nuclear scientists. I mean, there's not much left for them to rebuild upon, but the idea that they would put out a statement like that.
No, you stupid motherfuckers. Like, I'm like, fucking, I didn't want you to bomb them, but you put on the fucking news that you were going to bomb them for fucking a long time. So they had contingency plans in place, and they had probably moved their shit to all kind of different places. This is stupid. It's like if the news was announcing that they were going to raid your neighbor's house because your neighbor was cooking meth, they kept announcing it on the news for a while. Your neighbor might move their meth lab.
This fragile moment is very frustrating. It goes to show you why Iran has always been an irrational actor. They're not to be trusted, but we've got to use force. I mean, this is what peace through strength really means. You've got to forge the peace through the exercise of strength. That's what decisive leadership, strong leadership that President Trump has provided here allows the opportunity for. So we're going to be consistent.
Just showing a field.
Our message and our actions are going to be consistent. We are going to bring this to a close one way or the other.
They just showed what looked like an empty field. I'm not saying there isn't shit there, but they're like, oh, look, here's an empty field. My fucking God. Yo, if I was Iran now after this, I'd really want the bomb because it's like the great fucking neutralizer. It's like the way you get fucking countries to leave you alone, essentially, is by building a nuclear weapon. I don't like that that's the world we live in, but that's how you get left alone. Up next, we got to raise the temperature to lower it. You know, it's like got to spend money to make money, sort of.
To be with you. Look, this is certainly a dynamic environment, right? We're trying to lower the temperature of global conflict while simultaneously kind of raising it here in order to lower it. And so,
all right, this guy's all smart.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is exactly right. It would be Iran's worst decision possible to this point. And they've made a lot of bad decisions up till this juncture to come back and attack America or American troops. I genuinely hope that they don't do that, but we'll just have to.
Oh, you hope they do.
Here.
What do you?
This dude hella hopes they do. Oh my God. This is like, they're not even good at manufacturing consent anymore because they don't think they have to. Like up before invading Iraq, at least the government spent some time trying to manufacture consent. In this case, they're just like, oh, we're just going to do it. They're bad. And they keep going, oh, these are irrational actors, blah, blah, blah. No, they're just us, but in Iran. And Iran, I'm sorry. And I feel like people just lose sight of the fact that people in other countries or even people throughout history are just us, but at another time or another place. These are not irrational actors. These are fucking human beings just like us. Don't worry. This isn't war. It's peace preservation.
President Trump is leading through strength. You can achieve peace through strength as long as you use it in the right way. We're not at war with Iran. What we are trying to do is make sure we can have peace. You cannot trust a regime that is a world sponsor of terror, who has been chanting for 40 years, death to America, who has killed over 1,000.
Wait a minute. What happened in Iran? Did we do something there? Did we do something to them? Wait, did we overthrow their government and install one? Did we do that? Because I thought we were only supposed to do that in South America. But did we do that? I think we did that. Yeah, they're probably they remember shit.
American citizens or service members over the last 40 years, either through proxy or direct, and you cannot have peace if they achieve a nuclear weapon. You can have peace with them if they can if they don't have a nuclear program. And so what President Trump has done here is he's made an opportunity for us maybe to be able to negotiate peace with them if the regime chooses so. But I can't express this enough, Andrew. We are not at war with the Iranian people. In fact, the people of Iran, I think we have a very good relationship. It's the regime led by the Ayatollah that
how'd the Ayatollah get there?
Taken Iran in the wrong direction.
Are you calling for regime change? Because obviously there's been a lot of mixed messages over the weekend about this regime change issue.
No, absolutely not, Andrew. That is up to the Iranian people. We've made an opportunity for the Iranian people to choose. If they choose to have a regime change, that'll be up to them, not us.
Oh my God, they just act like the people could just like write something down, write a nasty note. If those people overthrow that government, it's going to be a bloodbath. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't know if I want them to overthrow their government at all. Here's Waters. Did you know that the U.S. intelligence agencies are putting out enemy propaganda?
Now she's on CNN getting hoodwinked all over again, because that's the point. She's not there to be right. She's just there to hurt Donald Trump. And I don't understand CNN's reporting, because CNN said before the strike they were years away from getting a nuke, and then after the strike they're 2 months. So you're closer to getting a nuclear weapon after being bombed? Doesn't make any sense. The Israeli intelligence team, Petraeus, Rubio, the CIA, the IAEA, everybody says direct hit, years to come back from it. And then there's CNN alone in the corner in last place, spewing enemy propaganda. I don't think they can come back from this.
So this is wild, because I don't think CNN has like a party line on this. I think like they had a guest on who probably said 2 years, and then a different guest who said 2 months or whatever.
I think they're getting it from some sort of nefarious Iranian sources, and it's wishful thinking.
Some hater in the Pentagon leaked an early report that had no confidence and just relied on some camera up in the sky. That's it.
Is that how we do intelligence gathering? Just some angry person in the Pentagon just looks at a camera in the sky.
Down there in the rubble with a phone. Yep, we killed this thing. Can you guys send some food? You're never going to know what happened, because the thing is a pile of rubble. Right.
Fucking Jesse Waters is just mind-expandingly stupid. Did you know that if you don't think that it was absolute fucking obliteration, like that if you don't think that like the whole thing got destroyed, that you owe the pilots of these bombers, you owe them a personal apology. That's what the President of the United States says.
Those B-2 pilots did an unbelievable job. And, you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean.
You don't believe that Iran can rebuild its nuclear program?
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon. And they hit that target with every one of those things. And that
with no moon. Do you know how fucking fast and high this plane is flying? Like, you need to be able to see. Does he know what's going on here? This is all computer controlled. The pilot needs to be there, but only kinda.
But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers.
So I might be, I'm not an expert here, but aren't the identities of the people who fly like these kinds of missions, isn't that classified? Like, who would they apologize to? I'm fairly confident that this is not information that we're going to get. We're not going to know the names of the pilots. So that's pretty weird. I don't think this guy knows what's going on. But also just again, this guy wants like the news to not be critical of him, but then to be like critical of everyone else. Here's Pete Hegseth. And you guys cheer against the president so hard.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths.
You don't have to hope that the way the current president represented something isn't true. That's just a safe bet.
Leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been?
I don't think, it's not zero risk going up in a B-2 bomber to bomb Iran, but it's not you're not at a very high risk of getting shot down.
How hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours. As MSNBC,
dude, motherfucker, you could take a nap in that plane. You're not allowed to, but motherfucker, you could take a nap in that plane.
As Fox?
Not very comfortable for it, I suppose. But
have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like?
How big is the drone? Probably not. It's probably not very fucking difficult to take. Probably not very difficult at all to take out a drone with a fucking fighter jet. The point of the drones, right, isn't that you can't take out one of them. It's that they're cheap, basically fucking disposable. If you were to use drones against a superpower like the U.S., what you would do is use fucking 10,000 of them. Can't shoot all of them down.
And a Patriot battery, or how hard it is to refuel midair, giving the American people an understanding of how complex.
So midair refueling used to be a lot more. It's fucking computer controlled. That shit used to be dangerous, yeah, but it's now it's fucking computer controlled.
This mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that, because of the hatred of this press corps, are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again.
So wait a minute, because you're near the Pentagon and you're doing reporting on the military or the United States, like actions of the U.S. military, now you have a responsibility to keep your fucking mouth shut? That's fucking wild. Maybe take a look at your own take a look under you. You got people, you just said you got people leaking under you. Why you got people leaking under you? You think maybe these think some of these people don't like this guy, but are able to keep their mouth shut about it enough so that his dumb drunk ass doesn't know?
Is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission.
You're not defending the air if you're over someone else's country. even if let's say what they were doing what we're doing in Iran was justified. You're not defending anybody. You're attacking somebody, friend. What are you defending Iran when you're in their airspace? No. Who are you defending?
A nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is? That we have.
How about we wave the flag and sing the song and fucking make out with the eagle?
I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans. And it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years.
I don't know that President Trump has been talking about not having Iran have nuclear weapons for 20 years. I'm not sure that he's been doing that. But like, this is all, he's just sad. He's mad. He's like, oh, people are seeing other intelligence reports from other places and stuff that was leaked from ours that, yes, we blew their fucking shit up, but we didn't like eliminate the nuclear program. Who knows how deep some of the stuff was buried? Who knows it? Like, just because the U.S. thinks they know where everything is doesn't mean that we know where everything is. Have they forgotten about the tunnels? If there's tunnels under the Getty, there's certainly tunnels under the Iran nuclear facility. But don't worry, everybody. As you'll see in this collection of 4 clips here, we are going to get some different versions of. Actually, this is just all vibes based.
Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I see that question being asked on the media. That's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build
point
a weapon.
in U.S. intelligence assessment. You know that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
The political decision had not been made.
Shout out to Face the Nation. He's like, no, it's not. She's like, yes, it was. Shout out to who is this lady?
And I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they?
Friend, the United States has facilities that are buried inside of mountains. Why would you bury them? Because a mountain is it's in the way. A mountain is as in the way as you could possibly get. The mountain's just in the way. That's why.
Have 60% enriched uranium. You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons because they can quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. They have. How
quickly?
Space program. Is Iran going to go to the moon? No, they're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but that's
well, hold on. You don't. Okay, I listen. No matter how crazy you think Iran is, I personally think that they're just another country. But I don't think they're going to nuke the moon. If anybody's going to nuke the moon, it's going to be the United States.
That's a question. That's a question of intent, and you know, in the intelligence assessment, that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold state and use this leverage. I'm talking about the public March assessment, and that's why I was asking you if you know something more from March.
But that's also an inaccurate
representation
of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Now, forget about intelligence. What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program. So why would you enrich uranium at 60% if you don't intend to one day use it to take it to 90 and build a weapon? Why are you developing ICBMs? Why do you have 8,000 short-range missiles and 2,000 to 3,000 long mid-range missiles that you continue to develop? Why do you do all these things? They have everything they need for a nuclear weapon. They have the delivery mechanisms. They have the enrichment capability. They have the highly enriched uranium that is stored. That's all we need to see.
This is, like I say, he's like, oh, don't worry about that's not what the intelligence says, but even if it was, don't listen to the intelligence, and you don't know how to read the intelligence. He's just saying this is vibes, right? He's like, I want you to believe the vibes that we're putting out. That's all he's saying, because I don't know enough about nuclear enrichment to know like how difficult it is to get from 60% to 90%, like enrichment. I just don't have the background on that. But I don't know, man. Like, if they, let's say that there's some use for this 60% enriched uranium that Marco Rubio isn't telling us about, which I think is probably true. Well, you start bombing this country, they're going to start doing whatever they can to get their hands on the bomb, including trying to get it from other countries. I think that's probably Iran's next step here. If that's what I'd do if I was them, I'd be trying to find the bomb on the black market. Fuck this. Here's JD Vance. Vibes, friends, vibes.
You said totally obliterated. The president has said totally obliterated the Iran nuclear program.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure where all the highly enriched uranium is?
Well, Brett, I think that's actually not the question before us. The question before us is, can Iran enrich the uranium to a weapons grade level, and can they convert that fuel to a nuclear weapon? And we know, based on the success of our mission, of course, the leadership of the president, but the incredible skill of our military, that the two mission objectives are completely successful. We know that they cannot build a nuclear weapon. Now, you asked about the highly enriched uranium.
Yeah, like 900 pounds of it.
But what we know, Brett, is that
why would we we know like exactly how? Get the fuck out of here. 900 pounds. I don't know what the fuck that means. What do you mean there's just 900 pounds of it? Fool, you could put that in the back of a fucking pickup truck and drive it off.
Is something that exists in very large supply. Our goal was to bury the uranium, and I do think the uranium is buried, but our goal was to eliminate the enrichment and eliminate their ability to convert that enriched fuel into a nuclear weapon. I think this is an important point, Brett, because so many of the folks who have focused on the highly enriched uranium, 60%. The main focus, Brett.
But fool, you guys been talking about that. The last clip we watched, somebody was talking about that. Marco Rubio was talking about that. He's focused on it. Did you not see the last clip? Were you not watching the show, JD?
Has been to destroy their enrichment capacity, because we don't want that 60% uranium to become 90% uranium. That's the real concern. And
what do you just plant it in the ground and put some fertilizer on it?
So successful about our mission.
And we don't want that. We just let it, just put it. It's like tomatoes. You just grow them. And, you know, you see the little green tomatoes and you're like, oh, those aren't really tomatoes yet. And then you fucking go back a few, like, oh, shit, now they're fucking red and they're ready to eat. I don't know I think they're taking advantage of the fact that most people don't understand this. Whether or not they understand this is sort of irrelevant. They're taking advantage of the fact that the viewership, especially on Fox, doesn't understand this and is probably largely incurious about this. It's all just vibes based, but anything you heard that didn't match our vibe, it's all been debunked, actually. I don't know if it's been debunked over and over and over again. So
our Joint Chiefs and our General Kane, who was incredibly successful in this mission on Saturday night, it was also disputed by both Israel and Iran. And CNN didn't care about that. The DIA themselves have now come out and said this was a preliminary report, and this CNN story got it completely wrong. But that reporter is a sheep, and she's a mouthpiece for people who don't like Donald Trump. And she only gave the White House an hour to respond. And that's, again, the same playbook we've seen the fake news media play time and time again. But this story has now been debunked widely by not just the United States, but also Iran and Israel as well.
They only gave the nobody's working there. What do you mean, an hour? They got, what do they got? What are they busy over there? And then we got one more. You know, what you should do, actually, if you're the press, you should wave the American flag and talk about how great America is, because that's the vibes. That's the vibes we're putting out there. Here's Pete Hegseth again.
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Anybody who's ever read a Battalion S2 report after a fight knows that it's usually, the initial report is usually wrong, sometimes grossly so. Has what happened in this incident caused y'all to sort of rethink the intelligence process or the dissemination, or do you think it's just a matter, I mean, if the process itself doesn't require any more adjustment?
Well, I can tell you what the chairman told me in the Situation Room and reminded us all, which is alongside what you just said, sir, is that the first reports are almost always wrong. They're almost always incomplete, right? Anything, whether it's a squad level operation or a strategic level operation, the initial reflections you get are coming at you at a high rate of speed from a lot of different sources. So your job is to step back and assess them. And that's why we're urging caution about premising entire stories on biased leaks to biased publications trying to make something look bad. How about we take a beat, recognize first the success of our warriors, hold them up, tell their stories, celebrate.
You can't, I swear to you, the fucking identities of the people who were flying those planes, that shit is probably, I'm sure that shit is classified.
Wave an American flag, be proud of what we accomplished. And in the meantime, I can assure you, the chairman and his staff, the intelligence community, our staff and others are doing all the assessments necessary to make sure that mission was indeed successful. Yes, right.
You know, maybe instead of reporting the news, you should just go out and wave the American flag. We live in strange times. Marjorie the Gathering, not happy about this, actually. Marjorie the Gathering thinks that this was bad. I got 2 clips of her. Here's one on a War Room with Steve Bannon.
Tell you what, 6 months in, Steve, and here we are turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag-draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down.
I mean, she's kind of wrong, because I don't think there's going to be any kind of ground action here. I don't think there's going to be World War III, but like, I don't know. I mean, Donald Trump did run on no more foreign wars. She's not wrong about that. Here's another clip of her. This is on One American News Network with Matt Gaetz, who, you know, for whatever reason, resigned from his role in Congress.
But there are voices that have tried to drive a wedge between the president and some of his most ardent supporters. Mark Levin, who screeches and shrieks over on Fox News occasionally, attacked me. He attacked you. He said we weren't real MAGA because we weren't on board with his idea of a regime change war. Again, President Trump hasn't gone as far as Mark Levin has wanted him to in having a U.S.-backed regime change war in Iran. He's done more akin to the Soleimani strike. What is your reaction to Mark Levin saying we aren't real MAGA because we don't want a regime change war in Iran?
Well, first of all, I can't believe that Fox News allows one of their hosts to go around and call me names on his.
Like the temerity of Fox letting one of their hosts call me names. You fucking dumbass.
Media. That is so.
That's Mark Levin. Who the fuck do you think? What the fuck? That's Mark Levin. That's his entire career has been calling. And I'm going to be probably mostly women. Calling mostly women names.
To what kind of media company Fox News is. I think that's horrible. And Mark Levin, obviously, he was a never Trumper from the beginning. He hated Donald Trump. He was totally against him and tried to stop him from becoming president. But yet now somehow Mark Levin is the voice of MAGA. I don't think so. Matt, you and I, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, all of us have been fighting hard to stay on these America First policies and stay out of foreign wars.
But as soon as Trump got the fucking bug up his ass that he could be some kind of wartime fucking president, he's like, I'm like General MacArthur now. He fucking threw all you under the bus because he didn't give a fuck about you.
Voice of MAGA, and the people totally agree with us. So, you know, it doesn't matter what Mark Levin actually has to say. People don't watch his show. I don't know anyone that watches his show, and his screeching is absolutely unbearable. But I think Fox News needs to reel him in, although I won't expect much out of them. I
thought you were for free speech.
A media company that would love to share propaganda on their network all day long because it brings in the views. Nothing like scaring the American people with another foreign war to get people to watch the news 24 hours a day.
Again, she's not wrong there, but she's just, I don't know. It's not like it's not like she's figured out anything smart or whatever, and she's just mad that like she was like that he did what she would not like him to do. She probably isn't too terribly upset about the war itself. She is just like, now she's in a position where she was like, she's been like banging the anti-war drum, being like, Trump is the only anti-war president and all that. Like now she's in a position where she can't really defend her previous words and she doesn't like it. Here is Bernie Sanders was giving a speech the moment that that the news broke that the United States had bombed alleged nuclear facilities in Iran.
This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran," etc.
Bernie, your crowd looking awful white. Where you at?
I
agree. That would suck, being in the middle of giving a speech. But I mean, his response was it's just fucking, exact. Bernie just stood there and kind of pursed his lips. Clearly not happy. And, like I said, they backed out on that crowd, and I was like, oh man, a lot of white people there. Maybe it was in Burlington. Anyway, we played a song about Iran earlier, and it wasn't very good. Now I'm going to play you a song about Iran that is good.
Sometimes you get at your B2s and go bomb Iran. Sometimes you get at your B2s. It's all part of God's plan. Well, if you want that peace, you can't be quiet when there's a picture of you hanging out on an island. So you best be getting your B2s and go bomb Iran. Politicians and preachers get hard as a bone, talking holy war. It's 2 birds, 1 stone. So get your Ted Cruzes and your Huckabees. Somebody said old Lindsey Graham free. Flip Miss Toast to get the war machine rolling. Where it's gonna stop ain't nobody knowing. So sometimes you get at your B2s and go bomb Iran. Sometimes you get at your B2s. It's all part of God's plan. Well, bomb them to hell. Every boy and every girl be the change in the regime you want to see in the world. Sometimes you get at your B2s and go bomb Iran. Government contractors are salivating cause it's real good money and liberation. Bomb them all to hell, beat all the thugs. That Palantir's one hell of a drug. Same playbook as 2003. Looks familiar to you, looks familiar to me. Sometimes you get at your B2s and you go bomb Iran. Sometimes you get at your...
Hell yeah, that guy's cool. He's a little bit Dylan pilled, I think. And somebody said in the chat, every time we watch a video of that guy, it's like he got younger. Like, good for him. Because I am not aging in reverse. Did you know that President Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize? Was it Pakistan that fucking nominated him for somebody in Pakistan government nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize? And like everybody doesn't seem to think that they're fucking trolling, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Look, President Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, no doubt. You look at what he's done with the Congo and Rwanda. You look at where he is with Pakistan and India and what he's done there. And then you look at this, what everyone talked about, but no one thought was possible. He has brought peace to a region that needed stability. He has shown...
Wait, that's what I think about when I think about the region right now. The region, the Middle East. That's what I'm like, well, you know what? The Middle East has never been at peace like this before in my entire fucking life. What the fuck planet does this lady live on? How the fuck the balls to get on TV and say that right now the region is in peace?
America First policy actually is. He's making sure that he's preserving American lives at every single turn. Look, President Trump understands what we need. We need a president who is unafraid to act and that stands firmly with the American citizens. That's what we saw today. And look, Democrats don't...
It stands firmly. Most Republicans, last time I looked. So it wasn't like a majority, but last time I looked, a plurality of Republicans were against the bombing of Iran.
To say, I mean, their silence has never been louder, if you know what I mean. And I think it's because President Trump just keeps winning and they don't know what to do.
Oh my God. Friends, I mean, they should just fuck around and give him the Nobel Peace Prize. It doesn't fucking mean anything. Just fuck around, just give it to him. Be like, we didn't really want to think about it this year. We just gave it to this guy. Everyone, don't worry. The faith healers are at the White House. They're gonna fucking solve all of this. No more fucking problems because these crazy people are speaking in tongues.
We just thank you right now, Lord, from the east, the west, the north, and the south. You will shake America with your power and your glory. We cancel every assignment of the enemy. This nation was birthed to be one nation under God, and we are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word. Every place that our foot will trod, you will give it to us, and we are taking the land. We thank you, oh Lord. You have brought us to the kingdom for a time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now from the capital of our nation that America will come back to God. We will come back to God. Nothing will stop this nation. And we speak right now by the authority of heaven. You told us to bring heaven to earth. Heaven is being released through your people right now.
So it wasn't the lady in the foreground or the front of the audio, but there was somebody fucking speaking in tongues in the background. It's like, come on, dude. This is America is the United States is not a serious nation. Like other fucking countries have to be like looking at this and just being like, I can't even imagine like what it must be like to just be in like another country, especially like if you're not like European or like in the UK or Australian. Like if you're like just the average Chinese citizen or whatever, and you're looking at this. I just can't imagine what that must fucking look like to other people. Like, and I mean, the Europeans and the people in the UK and Australia probably think it's crazy too, but not as crazy as like people outside of the English speaking world must think all of this is. So Pam Bondi went to Congress, and it went. I have 4 clips. It went a little something like this.
The 3 hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are 2 types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
Hold on.
No. For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup.
This is fucking pilled. She's like, but what she's going to say is, what she I think means to say is, I represented a foreign nation without filling out the proper paperwork and letting people know. And she's not going to say that, but that's what I'm getting from this. And she's like, but it was anti-human trafficking, and the fucking QAnon people, to the extent that there's no QAnon people anymore. It's just that shit's just oozing over society like a third or fourth wave of the fucking satanic panic.
Human trafficking for the World Cup.
Attorney
you can't
General,
put words in my mouth. No. You want to talk about incompetence?
Wait, she didn't put words in your mouth. She asked you a question.
You're the one that said Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Did she retract those words?
Chairman,
to me. Don't insult me publicly.
This is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines.
Oh, you're going to have to write a letter.
Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden? Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist.
Oh, I thought she was going after her for doing this work without registering. Well, if she registered as a that, I mean, she followed the law if she did that. I don't see the fucking problem.
Is that correct? Yes. Never mind. Don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the
right. The other people brought it up, but it was supposed to be in the fucking paperwork you filed. You stupid motherfucker. Don't worry, she'll write a think piece in the Atlantic about it.
That you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in. Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the President wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate, this is a
He said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself.
This is these are good questions, but the problem is, like, I think they're like doing it for Twitter or something. Like, also, like, who was running that meeting? Because the person being questioned, we've seen it over and over and over again, where the person being questioned is supposed to answer the question and not fucking do anything else. Whoever's running that meeting didn't, like, enforce that, but fucking, like, even so, let's say they tried to enforce it. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? The Congress got cops? No. I mean, I guess they can have her escorted out of the meeting, but then what? Like, none of these people are gonna do anything about this. Here's more.
April the 2nd. You're a part of this, the president has dabbled in meme coin. He had the DOJ disband the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. His son recently launched the Executive Branch Club, a private club with $500,000 memberships here in D.C. Any of this seem like it might be a problem, might be profiteering from the office, and maybe you and your ethics team might be concerned about these conflicts of interest, your own and the president and his family? Yes or no? Any concerns?
What I would be concerned about in Pennsylvania are all the child sex cases that we've prosecuted, all the CSAM cases that we've prosecuted.
Did you hear
in
my question?
Pennsylvania.
I
That's
asked
what
the
I would
witness
be
to
concerned
actually
about.
answer questions that are asked.
Congresswoman Dean.
Chairman?
Please let the witness answer the question.
She didn't.
Please. Oh, no. The chair is like, excuse you. Dude, this is pilled, right? She's like, oh, you should worry about all the CSAM cases there. It's like, well, does Pennsylvania have higher than average, or are they mad at this lady in particular? I don't know what's going on here.
And I would like to ask you one more question. You're not just complicit in this, you're actively helping and profiting. Isn't it true that on April the 2nd, the same day that Trump announced his chaotic tariff regime that plummeted the stock market, you sold more than $1 million worth of your shares in Trump Media stock? Trump Media stock fell 13% in the following days. Seems you avoided that loss. Well done. I yield back.
May I answer that, Chairman? I complied with my ethics, and yeah, I would take a class in financial literacy if you think I profited from that, because I lost a tremendous amount of money. Congresswoman, and also on page 25 of my SJ2, it lists my involvement with Qatar for anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Thank you.
See, like her responses to all this were extremely pilled. It was about trafficking and CSAM, but those weren't the questions. Also, did she help prevent trafficking at the World Cup, or like was she just like a fucking like a rubber stamp for the Qataris, because that's a pretty corrupt regime. And so maybe she was just like a white face to put on it so that they could say that they were trying to fight human trafficking in the, like at the World Cup. Here's more of this very meeting. I thought about running this whole thing during red light, but I decided we're not going to do that.
Asked me a question.
I did. And
Wait,
you
asked me a question.
And you
and I'm
haven't
gonna
answered my
it.
question.
So they're going to be out on the streets working
You haven't
hand in
answered
hand
my
with
question.
DEA
You
to
haven't
violate.
answered. Mr. Chairman, I'd like an answer to my question. And the question is not being answered. How many ATF law enforcement officers and industry operations investigators do you anticipate will be lost to attrition as a result of the funding reduction you are proposing? You are proposing a 26% cut to ATF for fiscal year 2026, as well as a 4.4% cut to DEA. So you're going to merge the two agencies together, and then you're going to
No, all that money is going to ICE. All that money is going to the Gestapo. This lady with the purple hair is usually pretty good, but it seems like she's like missing the forest for the trees here. All that money is going to the Gestapo.
their resources, so neither one of them will be able to do the job that they have been designed to do. You've got a 34% cut to the high-intensity drug trafficking areas program, no dedicated money at all for the...
But that's the thing is right there. They're going to cut the federal funding to help cities basically fight drug trafficking in their city, and then they're going to go fucking say that these cities are lawless, mayhem, that they are drug infested after they like pulled a third of the funding they were giving to mostly big cities, just because most people live in big cities for this stuff. This is obvious what's happening in this case.
Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. So, my view, it's fair to say that the Trump administration proposal shortchanges federal efforts to stop illegal gun trafficking and federal efforts to stop the flow of dangerous illegal drugs like fentanyl.
As I was attempting to answer your question very calmly, unlike you,
excuse me, Madam Attorney General. Answer yes or no. Tell me what the numbers are. I don't want to hear all of your filibuster about this. Go ahead, please. Tell us the numbers.
So we are reorganizing. ATF agents want to be out on the street.
Okay, let me answer the question.
Wait, no, the ATF, no. It's not like the ATF doesn't show up, but they're like an investigative body. They're detectives, not beat cops. That's not that there's no ATF that'll go out and raid somebody or whatever, but also it's like they investigate. That's their job is investigation, not cowboy up.
I'm going to answer it for you. Page. Mr. Chairman, you give me a certain amount of time, and I have a high respect for you, but I don't have to listen, nor do my colleagues have to listen to a filibuster when it's a simple question. But I have an answer to your question. It's page 146 of the department's fiscal year 2026 budget, and the performance summary explicitly says, and let me quote, ATF will eliminate 541 industry operation investigators, reducing ATF's...
Yeah, investigators. Those aren't cowboy. That's the investigator. Yeah, they don't... It's the guns. They don't want gun running being investigated. They're fucking gun nuts.
Capacity to
But all the while, they're going to say, oh, don't investigate all these illegal guns being run through this country or whatever. And then, also, Detroit is a shithole because they're shooting each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you pull the rug out from somebody and then you go, why aren't you standing on a rug? It's a, why are you punching yourself? You know, when like a fucking bully would grab your hand and make you hit yourself in the face, they're doing like a, why are you punching yourself?
The firearms and explosive industries by approximately 40% in fiscal year 2026. ATF will perform fewer regulatory inspections. And the department summary goes on to say, and let me quote, ATF anticipates a reduction of approximately 284 support personnel and 186 agents based on historical attrition patterns, and these personnel cuts will impact ATF across various functions, unquote. If the capacity to regulate firearms industry is reduced by 40%, if you are losing 186 ATF law enforcement agents on top of that, it is clear the direction you are headed with this budget.
It's not just that. This is twofold, right? It's the why are you punching yourself? It's like like municipalities, counties, states, some rely on help from the ATF. When they rely on help from like the DEA to like stop trafficking of weapons and drugs. So if you cut the funding for that, maybe like LA was relying on it, or they hate San Francisco. Maybe San Francisco needs it. Boy, howdy, do they hate Chicago. New York City, you cut some of that. So now there's probably going to be more drug and gun trafficking in the nation as a whole, just because there's less people to keep an eye on it. And now again, afterward, you just say, well, look at this shithole. There's people shooting each other and there's all these illegal guns and stuff there. And it's like, oh, what? All right. Like, whatever. Plus, I think they're giving all that funding to ICE, to the fucking Gestapo. Here's one more of Pam Bondi. I'd say this hearing didn't go well for her, but what the fuck does it matter? Let's say they impeach her. I don't know. They can remove somebody that was approved by Congress, right? They go to impeach her. Who's going to enforce that? Anyway, here's the last clip I have of Pam Bondi.
Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal?
Nope, that's the first clip.
Agents
Look at this.
Registration Act?
Anybody listening on the podcast? This is in fact a live show, and I fucked up and put the same clip twice. Fucking pro streamer here, professional podcaster. I should be up for a Webby. All right, up next we got we agree with the president, but actually we don't even know what the Federal Reserve does. This one's pretty a little bit kind of in the weeds and wonky, but it's like real interesting. Check this out.
We agree with what the President Trump is doing, or what the administration is doing in deporting illegals, criminal illegals. We do not want Tren de Agua. We don't really want people who have committed any type of crime, even more if they're illegals. And
what is it, Tren de Agua or whatever the fuck it is? I never even heard of that shit until these people started telling you to be afraid of it.
But we do know that unfortunately what's happening right now after 6 months of being Mr. President being in office, that we're losing thousands and thousands of workers, what the ICE leadership has called collateral damage. And most of those people are working in three main sectors: construction, hospitality, and agricultural. Even the president said the other day in a tweet that he understands that those hands are needed. We're talking about 15% of the economy: construction, hospitality, and agricultural. So my question to you is, what is the growth effect on the economy if this type of removal of people, of hands being removed from those three main top sectors?
So immigration is another area where nobody put us in charge. We're done, Congressional Budget Office and other agencies can make assessments like that. We do.
I wish we would have got the rest of that clip. Yeah, the Fed doesn't do that. The Fed doesn't do that. It's like basically it's like a central bank. People are like, America doesn't have a central bank. The Fed's a central bank. It's like a public-private partnership. It's quite bad. But that guy was right. He's like, hey, man, that has nothing to do with me, man. I don't know. He's like, I just smell my own farts and raise or lower the interest rate. And this is interesting because I've been talking about this a little bit, especially on Blue Sky lately. Is like the administration has the ability essentially to, when the courts rule against them, to tell the courts to go fuck themselves, because the court has no enforcement arm. And so, they can tell the courts, fuck you. And what is the court going to do? Arrest them? Well, they can't. The courts rely on the administrative branch of the government, the executive branch of the government, to enforce their rulings. And if the executive branch of the government is who the ruling is against, the executive branch of the government says no, then there's nobody there to enforce the ruling, and maybe they just go arrest the judge.
Complained about. The hearing started with the chairman reading a social media post by the Deputy Attorney General Blanche, who is present today but not under oath, nor is that social media post under oath. So let me ask you, since you are under oath, in the complaint it says, Beauvais stated that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts fuck you and ignoring any such court order. Did you say anything of that kind in the meeting?
That guy looks like he'd be an assassin, like in a movie.
Senator, I have no recollection of saying anything of that kind. To the extent I
Wouldn't you recall, Mr. Beauvais, if you said or suggested during a meeting with Justice Department lawyers that maybe they should consider telling the court fuck you? It seems to me that would be something you'd remember, unless that's the kind of thing you say frequently.
Well, I've certainly said things encouraging litigators at the department to fight hard for valid positions that we have to take in defense of our clients.
And have you frequently suggested that they say fuck you and ignore court orders? Is that also something you frequently do, such you might not remember doing it on this occasion?
No. And as I explained, I have never directed.
So did you or did you not make those comments during that meeting?
Which comments, Senator?
Dude, the ones that he's talking about. Again, this guy that's sitting up there knows nothing happens to him. There's the Congress has no ability to do it. I mean, they could try to remove him from whatever position he has. But what if the fucking president says, no, that doesn't matter. You can keep doing this. Then what? Write a letter?
You really need me to repeat it? Did you suggest, as Mr. Ruveni wrote, that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts, fuck you, and ignore any such court order?
I did not suggest that there would be any need to consider ignoring court orders. At the point of that meeting, there were no court orders to discuss.
Well, did you suggest telling the courts, fuck you in any manner?
I don't recall.
You just don't remember that. Well, let me ask you this.
Generally, there's stuff I don't recall generally means the answer is what you think it is, but I'm not going to tell you. And that's fine, whatever. If you're ever being interviewed, let's say, by the police, you don't remember shit. All you remember is your lawyer's phone number. But these people aren't like being arrested by the local cops. These are like government officials. Up next, everybody, remember the Dred Scott verdict. This is precedent for everything that's happening right here, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Would it ever be appropriate for the Justice Department to tell the court, we're going to ignore your order?
I mean, Abraham Lincoln did that with the Dred Scott case. I'm
hoping we're not going to go back to the Civil War or Dred Scott. You seem to be having some hesitancy about this question. Would you have difficulty if the government ignored your order in holding them in contempt?
Senator, I would not have any difficulty enforcing any court order that I enter. Obviously, if I enter a court order, I would expect it to be followed.
What if it isn't?
No matter who the party is.
Including by the Justice Department under the Trump administration?
Including the government as well, yes.
Okay.
Great. Let's say they decide to violate your order. What are you going to do? You going to go beat them up? You going to go assassinate them? Like, what are you going to do? You're not going to do shit because you don't have any power. All the guns are controlled by the executive branch. So I found this funny. How many times is this motherfucker going to claim that he's made a fucking trade deal with China? I think at least on this show, we're on this like the 4th or 5th time. This motherfucker went out in front of people and claimed that he had a deal with China on trade.
Yeah, Mr. President, you have a deadline coming up on trade in 2 weeks. Which countries, if any, on trade, on tariffs, sir, which countries, if any, are close to agreements with the administration?
Well, that's an interesting question. We've made a deal with China. We've made a deal with probably 4 or 5 different countries. With the UK, it was a great deal for both. And we're in the process of making some others. But ultimately, in fact, Scott is here. And Howard Lutnick, these 2 guys have been doing an incredible job. And the people that work with them have been doing an incredible job. But, you know, we have 200 countries. You could say 200 countries plus. We can't do that. So at a certain point over the next week and a half or so, or maybe before, we're going to send out a letter. We talked to many of them.
We're going to send a letter?
Tell them what they have to pay to do business in the United States. And it's going to go.
He keeps saying he's made a deal. How many? I'm fucking not kidding. He's 5-6 times something this motherfucker said that he has a deal with China. I don't think you got a deal with China. I think China's just trying to wait this guy out. One of the benefits of being like an autocracy is that you can take a little bit of a longer view. This one's pretty funny. And if anybody's like a longtime viewer of like this show, if you remember when we were watching that Lenka Coloma lady, how she said she was going to talk to Mr. City of San Clemente. Well, Trump's going to talk to Mr. Country of Japan.
We don't know. We don't have the clarity on what you're going to do with these expiration of these pauses. July 9th.
No, I think I thought I just said it. No, I thought I just said it. You ready?
You're going to send letters.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story. You're going to pay a 25% tariff on your cars, you know. So
Well, no, I'm going to pay a 25% tariff if I go buy a new Japanese car. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, we'll just take that. We'll take the hit.
Japan, no cars. They won't take our cars, right? And yet we take millions and millions of their cars into the United States. It's not fair. And I explained that to Japan, and they understand it. And we have a big deficit with Japan, and they understand that too. Now, we have oil. They could take a lot of oil. They could take a lot of other things. But basically, and I'm for doing it right now, we send letters out to all of the countries explaining to them, we'll look at the deficit we have or whatever it is with the country. We'll look at how a country treats us. Are they good? Are they not so good? Some countries, we don't care. We'll just send a high number out. But we're going to be sending letters out starting pretty soon. No, we don't have to meet. We understand. We have all the numbers. Listen, what we're going to do is we're going to send, and we're going to say, congratulations, we're allowing you to shop in the United States of America.
To shop? They're selling, not shopping.
You're going to pay a 25% tariff or a 35% or a 50% or 10%.
That's not who's going to pay. I'm no economic expert, but a tariff is a tax on your own people. It's a tax on the consumer. And how many times does he keep pushing this fucking thing back? I think he thinks these other countries are going to be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. How many bags full, sir? Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll eat the cost ourselves. Yes, sir. How many bags full, sir? And they're the country on the other end just being like a fucking country. They're like, I don't know. I mean, if you impose a tariff, our goods are just going to cost more because that's what happens when you impose a tariff. So you want people to have to pay fucking 25 or 30% more for a Toyota Camry? Well, then you go right ahead and do that. We'll suffer, but you'll suffer more. Also, not for nothing, China doesn't buy no American cars. Like the F-150 sells really well all over the world, Ford F-150, because it's a great work truck. Are they buying a fucking like a Ford crossover SUV? Fuck no, because they have Hondas and Toyotas. They have good cars. Up next, we got this is gonna be I think Tom Tillis. This guy's retiring. And he was on the House floor, and everybody, like all the shit libs on Blue Sky and shit, are like, oh, this guy's standing up to Trump. It's like, no, he's retiring. And he's like, look at the problem. Look at the monster. Everybody look at this monster that I helped create. Bye.
That between the state-directed payments and the cuts scheduled in this bill, there's a reduction of state-directed payments. And then there's the reduction of the provider tax. They can't find a hole in my estimate. So what they told me is that, yeah, it's rough, but North Carolina's used the system. They're going to have to make it work. All right. So what do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump...
Nothing, because you're not running again. This is now, oh, you fucking cut and run, motherfucker. You know, fucking, this is bitch made, dude. This is hell bitch made. This dude's like, I'm going to retire. So now I helped build this horrible thing. I put my fucking name on all of this. But now that I'm out of here, I'm going to say that I did something else. Actually, everybody's going to remember this instead.
Breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys. In the White House, senators advising the president are not telling him that the effect of this bill is to break a promise. And you know, the last time I saw a promise broken around health care, with respect to my friends on the other side of the aisle, it's when somebody said, if you like your health care, you can keep
shut the fuck up.
If you like your doctor, you can keep it.
But that was the case for most people.
We found out that wasn't true. That made me the second Republican Speaker of the House since the Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, because we betrayed the promise to the American people. 2 years later, 3 years later, it actually made me a U.S. Senator, because in 2010, it had just been proposed. And just anticipation of what was going to happen was enough to have a sea change election that swept Republicans into the majority for the second time in 100 years. Now, Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room when I was there with finance, where he said we can go after waste, fraud, and abuse on any programs. Now,
dude, so most people just stayed on what insurance they had. The exchanges were good because some people left their insurance because they got a better deal on the exchanges. This is all really dependent on like what state you were in. There were states that pushed really hard against the Affordable Care and Patient Protection Act, and it was like way worse for those people. And in states like California, New York, Massachusetts, where the states leaned into it, a lot of people got a better deal, and maybe they didn't keep their exact health insurance, but a lot of people got to keep their doctor. And this also just, it's a lie about how our system works, right? Most of us don't have a family doctor, right? We go to like a hospital or like a hospital complex, even if it's like you're not getting, you're not going to emergency room, you're not getting an operation. You go and maybe you mostly interact with like support staff, nurses, nurse practitioners, technicians, and the front office. So people don't really have a doctor in the way that everyone's describing anyway. So that shit was all bullshit. But this guy created, he helped create, he rode the wave, like he was saying, of this monster that he's created. And now, like I said, now that he's leaving, he gets to act like he's a decent person, and everybody's just eating the shit up like he's the second coming of fucking Jesus Christ or something like that. It's fucking dumb. Up next, I guess we don't need weather satellites.
The Department of Defense abruptly shutting down its satellite data delivery program, and it's sending meteorologists scrambling.
This is a huge deal, especially when you consider the fact that we are just getting into hurricane season. We haven't even reached the peak of hurricane season. The forecasters say they are extremely concerned. And that's because they're only going to receive about half the data they're used to, which makes it problematic when you think about accuracy as well as tracking a hurricane in real time. As you take a look at the video from previous hurricane seasons, starting Monday, June 30th.
What are those dumb fucks driving?
Ingesting, processing, and transmitting real-time microwave data collected aboard 3 weather satellites. Meteorologists say this is going to severely impede and degrade hurricane forecasts for this season and beyond, and as a result, impacting tens of millions of Americans who live in hurricane-prone areas. Hurricane experts say without this satellite imagery, there's going to be an increased risk of sunrise surprise, meaning when the sun goes down and then comes up, a hurricane could rapidly intensify, gain speed, perhaps become more powerful, and make landfall sooner than expected.
I think are going to be cases this year when certain warnings are delayed because of this. It might mean that evacuations get delayed because of this, and you could lose lives because of this.
Sounds frightening, but retired National Hurricane Center Branch Chief James Franklin underscoring the reality for forecasters in their communities, especially with a more active hurricane season than normal expected this year. And here's the thing, we reached out to the Department of Defense and asked why right now. The DOD sent us to the Air Force. The Air Force then sent us to the Navy, and we're still waiting to hear back.
It's like your Madison Star Moon.
Right now, Alex.
So this is dumb, like obviously just dumb, like to cut funding for this stuff in the first place. But like politically, it's dumb too, because in a lot of ways, like cities are better prepared to deal with a hurricane, right, than like rural areas. Buildings in cities are like fortified, I guess. Like there's like better building codes and stuff in the cities. So like, yeah, if a hurricane hits Miami, that's bad. But if you notice, it's the surrounding areas, the areas around Miami, the areas around Tampa, the areas around New Orleans. Sure, you see like flooding in New Orleans, but where you see like roofs getting ripped off of buildings and shit, that's in Trump country. So this is like really just politically fucking absolutely brain dead. Again, it's not like people in the cities don't suffer from the hurricanes, but it just hits the fucking rural areas so much harder. So much harder. There's not adequate drainage. Like it just hits the rural areas so much harder, and they're going to kill off the people that voted for them. But they don't care about those people because those people are poor. Here's Mark Wayne Mullen, who's been on our radar a little bit more, talking shit about AOC, saying that Trump has committed impeachable acts, which, whatever, he probably has. But even if they impeach and have him removed, who's going to do it? Like DC police, the Secret Service? Nobody. He's just going to stay.
What would be your response to all the criticism that we've seen thus far by the left?
Well, I would simply respond to AOC as simply saying, you're a socialist. You proclaim to be a socialist, and you're starting to quote the Constitution. Interesting.
There's evidence that Abraham Lincoln was a socialist.
If you actually get into the president's authority, underneath Article 2, it's pretty vague. The president did not commit troops. The court has went through this process multiple times. The president does have the right to react to protect personnel, assets, or proliferation of life of a...
Yeah, but if the sun never sets on your fucking empire, then any time there's conflict anywhere, you can claim that it's like that some of your assets are in danger because they're sort of nearby.
Mass destruction, if it was so deemed to be in the United States interest. His responsibility then is to inform Congress within 48 hours. That obviously has taken place. He obviously reached out to Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. Neither one.
Oh, wow. Good job. You reached out. Thanks for reaching out to the best and the brightest in the fucking Democratic Party.
We are told that even answered their phone. So to say that it's an impeachable offense, keep in mind, this is...
I mean, that's kind of based on picking up Trump's phone call. Actually, that's kind of based.
Individual AOC that tried to impeach the president every time he hiccups. So she has zero credibility with the American people. She has zero credibility even talking about the Constitution, and she's completely irrelevant.
I want to ask you, are you concerned?
These people hate her. First of all, she's not a socialist. She was like DSA, right? DSA is Democratic Socialists of America. They want to do like radical things like the country of Germany does, essentially, vis-a-vis labor and like healthcare and stuff. Also, these people better watch out because I think AOC going to run in 2028. I think she's old enough. I think she's going to be old enough. I think she's going to run in 2028. I think she might be the nominee. She could win. Not that it matters. Who's going to force Trump to leave if he loses? Or he's not even eligible to run again. That doesn't mean he's going to leave. Right? The Republican could win. It could be fucking, I don't know, Marco Rubio could win. And then when he's supposed to go like to the Oval Office or whatever, Trump could just be like, get out of here. And then who's going to do anything about it? Nobody. That's who. Nobody's going to do shit about it. This has been something. I got 2 palate cleansers. Shout out to Allie Drew in the chat in the Discord for always providing us with palate cleansers. This first one is fucking adorable.
Kimseye görmedim ben, senden daha güzel. Kimseyi tanımadım ben, senden daha özel. Kimselere de bakmadım, aklımdan geçer. Kimseyi tanımadım ben, senden daha güzel.
I know he's fucking singing in some foreign language, but just fucking patriots, just accept how cute this is, all right?
Senden daha güzel. Senden daha güzel. Senden daha güzel.
Aww. Oh my God, I love that. I love him. I love everything about that. But I have another palate cleanser because it's been that kind of week. This is this dude is like a fucking like 100 years old. And he's about to fucking check this out. This is great. This is fantastic. People be shitting on old white men. Not this one.
My name is Ken Turner and I'm 98 years old and I've served in the British Army in World War II, as did this Sherman tank. I'm old enough to have seen fascism the first time around. Now it's coming back. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is using his immense power to support the far right in Europe. And his money comes from Tesla cars. Well, I've got this message from Mr. Musk. We've crushed fascism before, and we'll crush it again. So let's go, shall we? Let's go.
Hell yeah, get 'em, Pops. The license plate too, if you probably noticed it. If you're listening on the podcast, the license plate of this Tesla is fascism. This is like a Model S, it looked like. S for SS. Oh yeah, Pops, get him. That's fucking cool. Fucking cool. So back to the news. I don't even know what the context of this is. I saw this and I was like, I don't care what the context of this is. I just don't care. Oh, nice website you guys got here. Let's see if we can get this to play. Yeah, I have no idea what the context here is, but watch this.
That's not how it
Ms.
works.
Stansbury,
Madam.
you're not recognized.
Madam Chairwoman, that is not how part.
Ms. Stansbury, you're not recognized.
All day, but that's not how.
Ms. Stansbury, you're not recognized.
We're gonna get you a Robert's
Ms.
Rules of
Stansbury,
Order
you're
and
not.
I kind of want to take that and make it into a GIF and turn it into like our following the GIF. It's like a child. A child just throwing a temper tantrum, just banging on something, be like, I can't, well, it's like, la, 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 I can't hear you. Fucking stupid. Well, we saw Pam Bondi go to Congress. Don't worry. RFK Jr. also went to Congress. So here is questions about, do you fact check things before you talk about them? Before you tell everybody what you think the truth is, and the answer might surprise you. No, it's not going to surprise you. Not at all.
Kennedy, you're listed as the chair of the commission. Did you read the report and fact check its sources prior to publication?
All of the factual.
Did you read the reports and did you yourself fact check them, sir?
I did not fact check.
You did not fact check. So why then? As has
all of the
widely reported, excuse me, sir, I'm
that,
speaking. Why then did the report include a citation to sources that don't even exist?
Well, that's great. It wasn't like a link to natural news. It's just like according to fucking freedompatriotace.org. And then we looked up, we got a 404 on that site, and it hasn't actually been registered for 3 years.
That happened under your leadership, sir.
All of the foundational assertions in that report are accurate.
They did not exist. How can they be accurate if they did not exist, sir?
Some of the citations
in fact, my understanding is that even once the report was updated, more authors and researchers came forward stating that their research was misconstrued. This is quite unbelievable, sir. In fact, I was a pre-med at UCLA. They have a great pre-med program. If somebody turned this in as an undergrad to their professor at UCLA, they would have received an F, sir.
Usually I think the props in Congress are kind of bad, but that's great. That's amazing.
For the misinterpretation, the falsehoods, the denials, and also citing references that don't even exist. That's lying and dishonest, sir. My concern here is that you and this administration are undertaking vast changes to our federal public health system and using purported facts and gold standard evidence that you claim to have as justifications for your decisions, actions, and frankly, your decimation of our nation's public health infrastructure. Yet what you are relying upon isn't real. It isn't data driven, and it isn't based in fact, science, or reality. Sir, it's wrong. As the secretary of one of the most consequential departments within our federal government, mischaracterizing data is not just some typos in a report that gets put on a shelf. Instead, your words and your words of your department carry significant weight. Do you agree?
The citations in that report were wrong. That was a mistake. They were corrected within 24 hours.
Yeah, but there were wrong still even after that. And they're wrong still today.
There were no erroneous actual assertions.
There were no erroneous. Friend, if you were the one in charge of writing it, yes, there were.
Carry significant weight.
There were no erroneous.
Do you believe your words carry significant weight?
There were no erroneous factual concerns.
Do you believe that the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services plays an important role in upholding scientific integrity?
Yes.
Okay, so then, in fact, what is most striking about this is that you've also threatened to bar governmental scientists and researchers from publishing in top medical journals. You've barred them from publishing in top reputable medical journals and instead proposed, quote, creating our own journals in-house.
Yeah, because they peer review, dude. They fucking they hate peer review, and people in chat are talking about ChatGPT. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that might be one of the main reasons that a lot of money that the Trump administration wants to put like money into or allow like AI to kind of go unfettered, because then they can use it and almost like blame their errors on AI or something. It's pretty crazy. Oh no. Here's AOC. You know how RFK Jr. is like, oh, all the big pharma and all this moneyed interests in your healthcare and whatnot. He's like, we got to get rid of those, this and that. Well, turns out that like some of the stuff he's doing is actually stuffing the pockets of insurance companies, which should surprise no one.
Secretary Kennedy, are you aware that President Trump's Department of Justice is reportedly investigating United Healthcare for criminal insurance fraud in some of their for-profit health insurance plans, like Medicare Advantage?
I'm not aware of that investigation.
You are not aware that the Trump Department of Justice is investigating the largest insurance company in America that...
No, he's not. He's not, because he didn't like read it on like a mommy blog.
Not aware of...
For fraud in Medicare Advantage?
No, I'm not aware of that.
That you have jurisdiction over?
It doesn't surprise me.
Are you aware that for-profit insurance corporations like United Healthcare have been found to be defrauding public dollars of more than $80 billion a year?
I'm not aware of that number, but I'm aware that there's fraud across the for-profit sector.
Respectfully, Secretary Kennedy, if we're making decisions around waste, fraud, and abuse, this is the largest source of waste, fraud, and abuse of public dollars in the public insurance space.
You say $80 million?
$80 billion a year.
He said 80 million. She's like, no, that's with a B, sir, a B. That's 1,000 million, if you will.
80. Did you say 80 million or 80 billion?
80 with a B, billion.
With a B.
Yeah.
That fucking this right here.
Yeah.
Home, you can tell homegirl. This is when having been a bartender comes in real handy. This right here.
Billion.
With a B.
Yeah. If that's the case, why did you nearly double the rate that taxpayer dollars give for-profit insurance companies like United next year, if you don't know those things?
Double the rate? How did I do that?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe you should explain.
Your agency nearly doubled the taxpayer dollars that for-profit insurance corporations like United will be paid next year, meaning these companies, the largest of whom is under investigation, criminal investigation by the Trump administration, will be receiving an additional $25 billion from your agency.
How is that happening?
This is the moment where you stop and go, sir, what do you do all day? What is your job? What is your job description?
would be happy to submit to the congressional record evidence of this. I will enter the CMS press release from April 7th of 2025 into the record, which states that Medicare Advantage corporations will now receive a 5.06% increase in payments next year under your jurisdiction, Mr. Secretary. This is up from 2.2%.
I mean, we're raising
without objection proposed from the Biden administration. You are doubling the rate that the Biden.
The gentlelady's time has
criminally
expired.
investigated companies.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
She's like, what do you do all day? Oh man, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I guess there's more money. I don't know. I had fucking Chat GPT write the proposal. I don't know. Chat GPT. I don't know. Maybe it talked to a health insurance company before I fucking talked to it. Oh no. Here. Oh. Here's somebody referring to him talking about how a 12-step program might have saved his life and talking about some of the steps in the 12-step program. This is fantastic.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Secretary. You've credited the 12 steps in your recovery. So can you tell this committee what is step 4?
It's making a fearless inventory.
Is making a fearless inventory of ourselves.
Yeah.
And you remember that one. And do you remember step 12?
Yeah, it's having had a spiritual awakening, we try to help other alcoholics and addicts.
So tell me, Mr. Secretary, yes or no, does cutting off treatment for people still suffering align with step 4 and step 12?
We're not cutting off treatment for anybody, Congressman. As I said, I'm happy to explain it, but you don't give me any chance to answer questions, but which is part of the game that we play here.
Sir, this is not a podcast. You're not on Joe Rogan. You don't get to fucking pontificate and bullshit for fucking 3 hours.
Mr. Secretary, I've heard your story. Again, I think that it's great that you talked about your recovery. But, man, you can't pull the ladder and shut the door. There are people like President Trump's family and your family that have resources, but there are families like mine and Secretary Vance's.
Gentleman's time has expired.
As we said, we're not denying
time has expired.
We're not taking treatment away from anybody.
The subcommittee is going to.
They cut fucking. They cut services for like addiction recovery. To be fair, you know, NA and AA are not the government, but a lot of people don't want to do that because it's like quasi-religious. And so it like falls on secular institutions, including the state, to provide like alternatives. And that's what's being cut. Here's more fucking RFK Jr., dude. My God. How did we get here?
Their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again.
We think that basically, we're going to monitor what you eat and how you live your life. Weren't these the same people who were mad at the government for suggesting that you should probably get a vaccine? Now they're like, oh, don't worry, just fucking wear this thing or else.
And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Why?
Following up.
Why? So that your fucking health insurance can deny you coverage? Because you fucking didn't ride your bike enough? I mean, what the fuck? Health insurance company, I have from the fucking county, so it's probably better. But like your health insurance company goes, you know, you said that you ride your bike regularly. And according to this watch that we gave you for free and made you wear with your health insurance, it didn't seem like you were riding your bike that much the last couple months. Here, they're going to terminate funding for HIV vaccine studies, which really, really sucks, actually. One of the interesting things that came out of the mRNA technology for the COVID vaccine is that it looks like that this is researchers are pretty close to a fucking breakthrough, and we may, you know, even without this jackass administration, like there are other entities out there. One of the cool things is it seemed like there might have been an HIV vaccine coming soon.
I'd like to bring your attention to termination of HIV vaccine studies. These cuts make up $258 million. Secretary Kennedy, did you make the decision to terminate these studies?
I didn't personally make that decision, but I understand.
You sanctioned them. How could you possibly justify such an action?
We've been studying been promising an HIV vaccine since 1984. And every year Congress pours money into it, and every year
because they haven't come up with what you then cut the forward motion by getting rid of NIH dollars that critically do research that save lives, and because it hasn't happened yet, well, we haven't. Sir, it's my time. It's my time. Show me one life. It's my time, sir.
Show me one.
I can show you a whole lot of lives if you got a minute. I'm insulted that you would suggest that there aren't lives that have been lost. People are dying every day, sir. And for you to say, show me one, there are people all over this country that are suffering the loss of their loved ones. Sir, here's the reality. Here's a whole bunch of studies that I'd like to submit for unanimous consent to the record that will debunk many of the things that you're saying and will in fact prove that you aren't being forthright with us or the American people. May I, sir?
Without objection.
As we look and we listen and we see where we are, the challenge and the fear, sir, of the state of now and the arrogance and the unwillingness to be forthright with the American people. Mr. Secretary, your uncle, President John F. Kennedy, and your father, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, were towering champions for working Americans, for justice, for dignity, and for those without a voice. They fought to lift.
I don't know what Fred Hampton think about that.
People up. So I'll ask this rhetorical question as I end.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman's time has expired. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Langworthy, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you very much.
So he's like, oh, well, we shouldn't put money into this research for this vaccine because we've been researching this vaccine and we don't have one yet. And that's like really fucking stupid. Because when you do research, maybe you're not, you're looking into mRNA vaccine, you're researching HIV, you may learn things about other stuff that gets applied in ways that the average person doesn't know. It's not like you research something and it's like, oh, you can't use that for something else. No, the point of research is that even if you don't find the thing that you think you're going to find, you might find something else interesting that helps people or that is a stepping stone toward helping people or whatever. We got one more clip of this guy's fucking testimony.
Now, I know Senator Cassidy had concerns about your views on this. And so when he voted to confirm you as Secretary of HHS on February 4th, he explained that decision by saying on the Senate floor that, quote, if confirmed, you will maintain the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices without changes. But then 2 weeks ago, you fired all 17 experts on that very committee. Mr. Secretary, question for you. Did you lie to Senator Cassidy when you told him you would not change this panel of experts?
I never made that agreement.
So are you saying that Senator Cassidy lied when he was on the Senate floor, lied to the American people?
I didn't see that statement by Senator Cassidy. I've only heard it from you. But if he said that I agreed to it, it would be inaccurate. I made an agreement with him. I made an agreement with him, and he and I have talked many times about that agreement.
My time. I just want to tell you that for most of us sitting here right now, we believe Senator Cassidy more than we trust you when it comes to vaccinations. It sounds to me like you gave him the answer he needed to hear in order to get his confirmation vote. And then as soon as you were Secretary, you turned around and did whatever you want. You fired all 17 members.
I'm complying with all the agreements that I made with Senator Cassidy.
You're now on the record. You lied to Senator Cassidy. You have lied to the American people. You have lied to parents about vaccines for 20 years. And I also want to be clear that I will lay all responsibility for every death from a vaccine preventable illness at your feet. I yield back.
He did tell the dude, he fucking absolutely told that dude that. But the problem is that Senator Cassidy, he was a Republican, a doctor. He was like one of the deciding votes. The problem is that dude was willing to believe a known grifter a known liar, a known confabulator, a known obfuscator. And that was the problem. The problem wasn't that fucking a liar lied to him. The problem was that he fucking, well, maybe he's not lying this time. That's the problem. He wanted to confirm him because he's like down with Trump's agenda, essentially, even if he didn't like the anti-vax shit. He wanted to be like on the team. And so he just let the dude fucking come in and lie to him. Fucking idiot. He did that to fucking like basically to lie to himself about what was going on. All right, everybody. We may have to kill the Queen of the Netherlands.
Well, she's clearly making fun of his mouth. She went, doing the Trump lip.
Fucking based rich old lady. I guess she's my age. Based rich Gen Xer. You see this? Watch.
Trump lip thing. And by the way, the White House nor the Netherlands royals will comment on this, but she better be careful. She could get a personalized bunker buster from Daddy Trump if she's not really careful. I mean, she's going to go from Queen Maxima to Queen Minima if she's not standing on protocol. And
I mean, the guy was sort of speaking off the cuff or whatever, and nobody's taking him seriously, but it's not great to like joke about like bombing somebody for making fun of you. That's great. She fucking hates him. She fucking hates him. Up next, I got a couple clips. So this is New York got a new mayor. I mean, I know it was just the Democratic primary, but in New York City, the Democratic primary is the general election, more or less. And the nicest guy in the world. Every time I watch this guy talk, I'm like, what a nice guy. And I guess everybody, conservatives and shitlibs alike, are just terrified of what appears to be the nicest man in the world.
And so to quote the words of a famous New Yorker, allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born in Kampala, Uganda, in East Africa. I was given my middle name Kwame by my father, who named me after the first prime minister of Ghana. And decades ago, in Uganda, we won our independence from the British in 1962. We can clap for that. And when we did, the United States government gave the Ugandan government 23 scholarships as a gift for independence. And my father won one of those scholarships. He came to this country to study to be an engineer at the University of Pittsburgh. And sometime into his studies, his face buried in his book, he heard the words reverberate in the corridor around him, "Which side are you on? Which side are you on?" These were words being sung by members of SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, recruiting students to get on the bus to go to Montgomery, Alabama. And my father got on that bus. He marched. He was hosed down. He was thrown in jail. He was given one phone call. And he called the Ugandan ambassador to the United States. He said, "Can you get me out of jail?" The ambassador said, "What are you doing in jail? We sent you there to study." My father said, "You sent me here as a gift for our freedom. They are fighting for theirs. It's one and the same." And so I was raised with this understanding that freedom and the fight for it is interconnected. And as I look across this city today, I am reminded that freedom is only worth as much as our ability to exercise it. Because we hear politicians of the past come on stages across this city, including this one, saying that they believe this is the greatest city in the world. But they do not answer the question that Dr. King posed decades ago. What good is having the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a hamburger? What good is being the greatest city in the world if New Yorkers can't afford to live here? What good is it if our...
Ooh, he's evoking the MLK that they fucking assassinated, right? They were all good with him telling black folks that it's okay to be black. But as soon as he started talking about people's economic conditions, oh, they killed him.
Our own people cannot afford their rent, their childcare, their groceries, even $2.90 for their Metro card. What good is that but making a museum of what once was in the city that we love?
Dude, they're fucking seething about this. They're absolutely fucking seething about this guy. They are fucking hell mad about this guy. If you could imagine, the mainstream media, even like the so-called liberal media, doesn't quite know what to do with this guy. They're just not sure. Because he isn't just like a progressive, essentially, who won the mayoral race. His name is Zohran Mamdani. I mean, sounds terroristy to us.
Okay, so, everyone else is putting their view on this, of what this means, okay? Your victory.
It just means that he got the most votes, that he kind of, and so far as we can tell, it looks like he blew out Cuomo.
I think it means.
I think it means that we are ready in the most expensive city in the United States to have 5 boroughs that New Yorkers can actually afford. And this entire race was about the question of affordability. And ultimately, I have run a campaign that speaks about the tools that city government actually has to deliver that affordability in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the world. And it's time that we have a mayoral administration that follows through and actually delivers that.
All right, so I want to talk about some of that, but first the breaking news. Isaac DeVere is reporting that Andrew Cuomo is not dropping out of the general election race, right? And it's kind of a willery-woney, but the deadline's tomorrow. Is this a surprise to you?
Ultimately, Andrew's decision or my decision matters less than the decision that voters already took on Tuesday night, where we won from Bay Ridge to Dyker Heights to Harlem to Washington Heights. We saw a mandate delivered for a new generation of leadership. And I am so proud and excited to continue to build on that mandate with an ever-expanding coalition, one that has now included the endorsements of Congressman Jerry Nadler, of State Senator Brad Hoylman Siegel, and Manhattan Borough President, soon-to-be Controller, Mark Levine. And ultimately, that is a coalition that will continue to expand through November.
I think Cuomo thinks he's going to be able to throw fucking money at the general and win in the general. But he's just going to get, he underperformed like in a pretty dramatic way in this primary. And after that, people are going to see him running in the general, like as an independent or whatever. They're just going to see that as sour grapes. And he's going to get blown the fuck out so bad in the general. If he tries to do that, if he tries to run as an independent, it's going to be so embarrassing. It's going to be so embarrassing. I'm so fucking here for it. Absolutely so fucking here for it. Here's, of course, Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader. He's going to be, here he is on ABC this week. He's not a happy camper. I think the shitlibs might be more angry than the Republicans.
You mentioned the diversity of your district, including a lot of Jewish constituents. Mamdani has made comments.
According to any polls that we look at, the Jewish people voted for him 2-1. 2-1.
Some have said,
and he didn't even get a fucking majority, right? Because the way ranked choice works, he got over 40% in some of the boroughs, but based on what I've seen, that the Jews voted for him 2-1.
Anti-Semitism. His initial statement after October 7th, he criticized the Israeli government, but didn't criticize Hamas. He defended the use of the word globalize, or the phrase globalize intifada. And he even said that the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu should be arrested, or he would, if he were mayor, he would arrest Netanyahu if he visited New York City.
Fucking based.
Did these things concern you?
Globalizing the intifada, by way of example, is not an acceptable phrase, and he's going to have to clarify his position on that as he moves forward. With respect to the Jewish communities that I represent, I think our nominee is going to have to convince folks that he is prepared to aggressively.
He did. They voted for him. He convinced them. They voted for him. I don't. What else do you want? They voted for him. What do you got to convince the people that didn't vote for him? I mean, maybe during the general, he'll pick up some people that didn't vote for him.
The rise in anti-Semitism in the city of New York, which has been an unacceptable development. And any mayor, whether you're a Democratic mayor, a Republican mayor, an independent mayor, has got to commit.
Name a Republican mayor of a large city. You have all the time you need.
To the safety and well-being of all of the people of the city of New York. And when there are moments of crisis and a rise in anti-Jewish hate, that's a threshold, of course, needs to be crossed.
So this is fucked up. so there is a rise in like anti-Semitism, but he's suggesting that it's like from college students, protesting against the actions of the Likud-controlled government of the state of Israel. That includes a lot of Jewish folks. This like purposeful and dishonest conflation of these two. I think it's not. I think in like the big cities, I think it doesn't work anymore. I don't think it works anymore. I think there's like no reason for anybody to think that it works. Like it's a dumb strategy, and I think people are like people just aren't buying that shit anymore. And it seems like we're having a problem with the website of the Blue Sky. It's not giving us our next clip. Fucking fantastic websites all these people got. So I guess we're gonna skip the next clip and hope that the one after goes here. So this one I've called "Deport the Mayor." Ooh, none of this is going. Is fucking Blue Sky down? This is not fun. It's gonna make a fucking problem for the rest of my show. It doesn't look like any of these Blue Sky links are working. Let's try something here. Fucking riveting radio. Everybody on the podcast is like, what's happening? Yeah, I don't know if any of these Blue Sky links are working. It seems broken. Like, I think the Blue Sky website just broke like right in the middle of my fucking show. But the clip I was going to play, I don't know if it was Pam Bondi. It was somebody saying that they were considering looking into the immigration status of Zohran, the duly elected mayor of New York City. If you want to see the people fucking attempt to overthrow the government, trying to deport this guy after he won this election is going to be a good way to like maybe get the people to overthrow or attempt to overthrow the government. So yeah, that's not going. I think we got a real fucking problem here. What happens if we just go to the homepage here on is Blue Sky? Is Blue Sky down? Yeah, I'm not getting anything on my laptop. I'm not getting anything on my desktop. It's Monday. It's Monday. The Blue Sky website has a case of the Mondays. So let's see if we have anything here that isn't from, oh man, okay. So I think what we'll do here, because we've run pretty long. I think what we'll do here is we'll go into red light and we'll try to get back to the rest of the docket during red light because I don't really want to. Oh, wait. It loaded on my laptop. Let's see here. Is it going to go? Fuck yeah. It fixed itself. Good job, everybody over there at Blue Sky. Here's Pam Bondi talking about the potentially deporting the mayor. He's going to be the mayor of New York.
Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Does President Trump want Zohran Mamdani deported?
Even Pam Bondi is like, what?
I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him call for that. But certainly he does not want this individual to be elected. I was just speaking to him about it and his...
He doesn't? Well, that's too bad.
...policies that will completely crush New York City, which is obviously a city that the president holds near and dear to his heart.
Ooh, but ain't nobody in the world hate Donald Trump like somebody who lives in New York City.
There's this Congressman, Andy Ogles. He wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote in 2017. Does President Trump...
Wait, he's got a mixtape?
This is a worthwhile use of the Attorney General's time.
Well, I'll let the president speak to that. I have not seen those claims.
We gotta find his fucking rap album.
But surely, if they are true, it's something that should be investigated.
And
except that it's a rap album. This is now you're now you're really piss off New York pretty bad now. I mean, not only are you suggesting deporting the guy, you're suggesting deporting him over hip hop. I don't know how you're gonna justify that. Like the people in New York City, they seem to like the Zohran guy, and you know what they really like? Hip hop. So here's a clip I like, and I'm glad that we ended up getting this back because I like this clip here. This is somebody's abuela or something. This is in Torrance, California. People came to a workplace claiming to be ICE and check out homegirl.
What are you guys doing? No tiene que contestarle nada. What are you guys doing? Hey. Batch. Hey. Okay, you need to identify yourselves. You need to identify yourselves. No, you need to identify yourselves. This is kidnap. This is kidnap. You need to fucking identify yourselves. You identify yourselves. What's your batch number? I identify myself to him. I'm talking to him. I'm not talking to you. No, we didn't see any of that shit. We didn't see any of that. No tiene que contestar ninguna pregunta. ¿Se identificó con usted? Ok. Ni madres. No conteste nada. No conteste nada. Ni firme nada. Why don't you question me? You guys are not even ICE. You need to identify yourselves.
Ma'am, this is an immigration inspection.
Can I see your badge, please?
My badge is right here.
No, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's right there.
No, I need to see it. No, this is kidnap. This is kidnap.
No.
This is kidnap.
This is an immigration inspection.
This is a kidnap.
You can record all you want. Just please stay out of the way so you're safe. Okay?
I am staying out of the way, but it is also my right to record.
Yeah, absolutely. Record all you want.
You guys just show up and you do not identify yourselves, so they don't have to go. They don't have to go with you guys. You identify yourselves?
Oh, yeah, I just identified.
I need to see the badge.
Oh, no, my badge is right here.
No, that is not your badge.
It is.
It's not your badge. You know what? I do have a little bit of education, and I know that is not your badge. That is not your badge. So unless you guys identify yourselves, you are not taking anybody. No conteste nada. It's like ICE with freaking out of shape, fat asses. Fucking racial profiling is against the law, you motherfuckers.
I fucking love her.
Get the fuck out of here, assholes.
What's going on?
No, these are not even ICE. These are not ICE. These are fucking bounty hunters. Fuck them, assholes.
Fuck yeah, lady. Fuck yeah. That lady's hella cool. She could be my auntie. Here's this is from the UCLA Medical Center, which is fucking great. It's a great place for the Gestapo to be. They're going to tell someone at the UCLA Medical Center that they don't need a badge or to identify themselves or anything. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. There's it appears that there's a woman who's not going anywhere because she's in a hospital bed. We don't see much of the woman, but here's the exchange that someone claiming to be U.S. Customs immigration, whatever, is having with a nurse at the hospital at UCLA.
Somebody into the hospital, if she's in custody, they're allowed to stay with her by law. Nobody's going to kick us out of this hospital.
No, you're not going to tell us what we're not going to do.
No, you cannot kick us out of this hospital. We're federal agents, and she's in custody. You guys are happy? We're welcome to call the cops. That's fine. I'll have the conversation with them. But we're not even.
So can the cops stay with her?
No, I have to stay with her. She's in federal custody.
Where's the other gentleman that was hiding his face?
But that dude isn't even cosplaying. That dude's just he's just a dude in slacks and a t-shirt. He's not even like cosplaying as ICE.
I had a badge number.
We don't have badge numbers.
Where's the other gentleman?
He stepped outside. I'm the supervisor for the team. He's gonna come back dressed down. I told him dressed down, but she's staying in custody of us. Look, I understand there's a lot of people that are not fans of us here, but we're doing our job. Okay, we're federal agents, and she is legally in custody.
Okay, we saw her legal statement.
Yeah.
Yo, that dude, like I said, the other people were at least cosplaying. That dude like didn't even look like he was pretending. Like these people, the people on the right who were like throwing a fit up like during QAnon about human trafficking and shit. Like if somebody wanted to do some fucking human trafficking, this would be the way to do it. Here we go. They've decided now that maybe they'll go after people from Iran because we just bombed Iran, right? So maybe we should go after people from Iran. Don't look away from this stuff, folks.
I'm his pastor.
He has a warrant, sir. All right.
For what?
He's being arrested for immigration.
He's asylum seeker.
It doesn't matter, sir. We're just following orders. He's got a warrant.
He came with CP1. Why you're doing this?
It's no longer valid anymore. That's why. Hey,
why? What?
Please.
Can I have his stuff?
Yeah, phone. Yeah. No, he can't have it. Yeah, only my phone.
Where you're taking? Can I follow you?
No, only. Where's the phone? What are you taking?
What?
Hold on, give me just a second. This is
why you're taking him?
Nah,
Boro 2, Eshkana, Boro 2. Why are you doing this? 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 Why are you doing this?
You want to be arrested as well?
You want to get arrested as well? What the fuck? You want to get arrested? These are not like these people are not trained. These are the lady in that other clip. She said that it was kidnapping and called these people bounty hunters. I think she was right. These are fucking bounty hunters.
Arrest me.
Don't get closer. Stay there. Stay there. Stay back.
Let him go.
Stay there. Stay back.
She's bad.
Stay there.
Let her go. Let her go.
You don't stay there, you're gonna be arrested for
interference. She's sick. She's sick.
You're gonna be arrested for interference.
She's sick. I'm here. She's sick.
Okay, stay there.
She's bad. Call 911. Call 911. She's bad. She has a problem. My God, you're... Why are you doing this? Why?
Where is this? Where are the people in the neighborhood?
They came from persecution. From dictatorship. I'm from Iran. I'm from Iran. You're so cruel. So cruel. Have you read the news? Have you read the news? I was in prison for my faith. They're there in Iran. They're from Iran. We fled because of our faith.
Yeah, these are the backstory on this is these are people who are granted refugee status like for religious persecution because they were Christians in Iran. The Christian nationalists be like, I don't know, they look kind of terroristy to me. They don't look like Christians to me because when they say Christian, they mean white.
Can you take me with them? They need me.
No, sir.
They need me.
You can stay there and you can record, but you...
Wait, why is he wearing a fucking LA Dodgers hat?
Go with us, okay?
مرجان اوکی میشه مرجان جان
Oh, she may be having a seizure. This is terrible.
My heart is just... Seriously, you all guys came for one person?
What is her name?
Marjan. Seriously.
Don't give them her name. I mean, I know you're just trying to de-escalate. Don't give them her name.
Only two.
Wait, you don't even know who the fuck she is and you just grabbed her? Wait a minute, they didn't even know who the fuck she is and they just grabbed her because what, she was yelling?
Is enough. What this? Like, what's this? It's the army here.
That's security, sir.
It's the army. Like 2 people. Have you read the news? What's happening in Iran? For women? They came here for freedom. Not like this. Shame on you.
You came to the wrong fucking country if you want freedom, if you look Muslim. Things weren't super great before this, but my fucking God, dude. I think that lady was having a seizure. And they you're not supposed to restrain someone. These people don't have any training. Not like I prefer my brown shirts with training. Like, I guess maybe that's not really the point here. Oh, here, check this out. They fucking blew up somebody's front door. They didn't even knock. Oh my fucking God, they just blew up the front door of this house. I don't give a fuck what they say those people did. I mean, this isn't burn notice. You don't just casually walk up and blow up somebody's front fucking door. We got, here's Trump talking about the El Salvadorian prison system.
Your administration has said that El Salvador is one of the safest countries in the hemisphere. So why haven't you yet canceled temporary protected status for that country? Was it part of the deal?
Well, we'll take a look. We've had a great relationship with El Salvador. They have a fantastic leader. They built a massive prison system. And I don't know exactly why, but it's a hell of a system. And we
they built a prison system to put people in the prison, you stupid fuck.
People there, and when they go there, they don't get out. And frankly, when they hear they have to go there, they become very nice people. It's a tough system, but it's a brilliant system, and it's a system done by a very, very good leader. We'll talk about El Salvador. A lot of respect.
He just straight up said, he's like, we have a great relationship with El Salvador because they have this prison system. But the question was are you letting El Salvadorian refugees in? He's like, oh, dear God, no. Those people are Mexican-y. Don't worry, though. El Salvador is not going to have all the fun with this. Here is Ron DeSantis showing Steve Ducey. People are calling it Alligator Alcatraz. I much prefer Alligator Auschwitz. This is in Hurricane Alley in Florida. They're going to be housing people here, I suppose. And here's Meatball Ron with Steve Ducey.
So, I mean, this is going to be, illegals will come in, they'll be processed, there'll be places for them to be housed, you'll have an ability for food, you'll have an ability for them to consult legal rights if they have that, because
if they legal rights if they have that. All right, dude. If they have legal, if they have them, we're working on that too, though. Don't worry about it. We're working on that.
Involved with this. So this is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So we've got laundry facilities. We've got showers. We've got, obviously...
Wait, no laundry facility or showers for the people you're putting in your concentration camp? Just for the guards?
You see the shower and bath facilities.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Where do you go to get a bunch of bathrooms like that?
Well, so this is being done by the Division of Emergency Management. So when we...
No, what company provided them? Steve Ducey's like, where do you get all these bathrooms? Steve Ducey is like the dumbest motherfucker. Of course they sent Steve Ducey there. This is just straight up concentration camp shit. Here's Press Secretary Leavitt on the concentration camp that they're building in Florida.
Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center
Yes, it's an illegal. Yes.
located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known.
Oh my God, what's going to happen to all those people when a hurricane comes through?
As Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. We are
So a concentration camp. Say what you want about Alcatraz, but the people who went there did get some version of due process. Legal system great? No. Those people at Alcatraz were convicted of a crime. This is Alligator Auschwitz, not Alligator Alcatraz. And of course, as all this is going on, someone did a terrorism in northern Idaho. Anybody who's been tracking extremism in the United States knows about what's going on in the Pacific Northwest. That there's a lot of, particularly in Idaho, but also in eastern Oregon and eastern Washington. There's just a lot of fucking fascists out there. In Idaho, they're trying to create cities full of fascists. They're trying to create like little fascist enclaves. So I guess some people did a terrorism against the fire department.
Subject to change. We want to give you and the public as much information as quickly as possible. So at approximately 1:21 p.m. this afternoon, we received reports of a fire on the east side of Canfield Mountain. Fire assets responded to the scene, and at approximately 2 p.m. this afternoon, it was reported that firefighters were receiving shots fired.
They were receiving shot. They set people, they did an arson to draw out the fire department and then shoot at them. Seems like almost undeniable that that's what happened.
At them. We now have 2 deaths. We have an unknown amount of casualties. We still have civilians that are coming off of that mountain. We might have civilians that are stuck or in shock on that mountain. So
literally, this is the same. Remember they said that Antifa was doing this, that they were setting fires. And do you remember when they said Antifa was doing this? Remember that?
Very, very fresh situation. We are actively taking sniper fire as we speak.
What the fuck?
This is an active situation. We have multiple agencies that are on scene from local and federal authorities, and we are prepared to neutralize this suspect who is currently actively shooting.
One? It ain't one, friend. That's you're dealing with a militia. You're not dealing with one. You're dealing with militia.
At public safety personnel, we are prepared to neutralize this suspect as quickly as possible. And that's really all that we know as of right now.
Except, sir, your sheriff's department is probably fucking crawling with these people. Your sheriff's department is probably crawling with people who are, if not complicit, sympathetic to what's happening here. The fucking terrorism probably coming from inside your house, sir. Up next, we got Lauren Boebert on Alex Stein 99 show on The Blaze. They should maybe pardon Joe Exotic.
I haven't read into the actual charges. I've watched the show, certainly.
I haven't read the charges, but I've watched the Joe Exotic show. I'm an expert.
Put that before the pardon team, and I'm sure they'll see this and have conversations with me and many others. Joe Exotic has reached out to me, or at least his team has in the past, and other members of Congress for sure. And like I said, he was a fantastic unifier. And
wait, what?
I don't know if you've been.
He wasn't a unifier. People didn't watch that fucking documentary and be like, "Oh, this is great. I love what he's doing with them fucking tigers."
To make this proposition to make this.
I have a bunch of tigers. No, I have in Hillsborough, Texas. I have an illegal tiger farm.
No, I think truly.
God, fucking Alex Stein 99 is aggressively unfunny.
I enjoyed the heart and sentiment of Joe, and since he's been in prison. His outreach and even, him wanting to run against President Trump while in prison is certainly a part of the American grit and spirit. But we'll see what the pardon team says and keep putting in words for him.
Oh, my fucking God. Oh, man, this would be a lot funnier if it was a lot funnier. So just a little taste of what we're doing for Red Light. This is Peter Thiel on Uncommon Knowledge with Peter Robinson, hosted by the Hoover Institution, and we're going to watch we're going to watch this a little bit longer form during Red Light. Everybody.
This is my very specific question for you, right? Is that you're an investor in AI. You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world, I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great?
Damn, the fucking dude from the Hoover Institute coming from the top rope on Peter Thiel. Oh my God. This dude of all people.
More technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done.
Wait, what you do?
Far, right? Yeah, I mean, isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule.
Well, but
he was like, I used to be a libertarian or whatever, and I was against permanent authoritarian rule until I figured out that I could fucking be the one in charge.
But again, there are these different gradations of this we can describe, but is this so preposterous, what I've just told you, as a broad account of the stagnation that the entire world has submitted for 50 years?
Oh, he's changing the subject to ain't done no science in 50 years.
To peace and safetyism. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. The slogan of the Antichrist is peace and safety, and we've submitted.
Yo, that's what Palantir says that they're bringing to the West. Like, the mask is off on Palantir. They're putting up fucking like, on the bus stop they have like posters in some of the cities that Palantir has advertisement basically saying they're saving the West. I didn't see any in the city, San Francisco, and I certainly ain't going to use that shit would last 10 minutes in Oakland, right? But like in some cities, they're putting up that stuff saying that they're keeping the West safe. And so he's doing the very thing he's describing. We went super long tonight, so that is what it is. If you're listening on the podcast, you got an extra long show, but definitely make sure to check us out live sometime. We're live usually on Sundays. We did this on Monday because I had a busy weekend. That's 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlex Media. If you don't want to go through all that rigmarole to watch live, you can go to patreon.com/EchoPlex, replex.store, sign up at the $5 a month level or higher, and we'll send you this to your email day before it comes out on the podcast. And obviously, as always, see a bunch of regulars in the chat, so I probably don't got to tell you this, but if you are watching live, stick around. We're going to take a little break, and I'm going to change the contents of my beverage, change the color of the lighting in this room. We're going to do red light in a little bit. This is going to be Boomers. This is Boomers by Periscope. I'll be back in just a couple minutes with a well-deserved cocktail.
Should you pay